I came across something quite interesting yesterday on Facebook, and I'm going to share that with us. But before I do that, this video is quite important, and I would like us to broadcast this video as much as possible so it gets to the appropriate authorities and those who can effect a change. Now, look at this picture here on the screen. This is from a primary school textbook. Now, it says Islam. Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio, through his jihad, introduced Islam to Nigeria through the north. Now, this on its own is actually false. It further says, he spread Islam from Sokoto to Zaria, Kano, and major northern towns. Islam also spread to the western parts and eastern parts of Nigeria. Islam brought a system of government which the Sokoto people adopted, as they have the Caliph or Emir as their head. Islam also brought Quranic education. All these have become part of the Nigerian culture. Now, one thing you would expect that a book that was meant to teach children, or let's even say history, or in this context, the history of Islam, you would want to assume that they will try as much as possible to get these things accurately. Now, the first thing that we must understand is, before I even go into this analysis, when you look at the Malam, in this picture here, you see the Malam seems to be teaching the student, and then the fourth sign by the left that looks like one, that should be Alif. Now, they wrote Dal. That should be Alif. They wrote Dal. And the second one, which should be Ba, now whatever it is they wrote over here, I don't know what they wrote there. And then you have the Tha, they wrote whatever it is again, and then also the Tha, they wrote Zai, horizontal. That what kind of education is that? And then we say we go on Twitter, we go on Facebook, we're having youths who appear to be dumb, not knowing that the foundation of their education itself is faulty. Now, when it comes to Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio, Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio did not introduce Islam neither to the north nor to the west. Islam had been in the present day Nigeria from the north to the west at least 400 to 500 years before the birth of Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio. When it comes to western Nigeria, for example, we would say Islam has been here at least within the 14th and the 15th century. And some have even argued that it was here even at the early 1000s. Dan Fodio, whatever he did here in the north, was that he only tried to correct the Islamic practices as at that time. He met Muslims in the north. He did not preach Islam to them. He was not the originator of Islam in that region. The Borno Empire, they didn't accept Dan Fodio. He was not able to influence them in those ways. He had no emirs there. They were a very strong empire. They had their own Islam. Islam was in Kano. Islam was in Sokoto. Islam was in these places. And then you are teaching children that he introduced Islam to Nigeria through the north. No. Even in Yoruba land, Islam did not enter Yoruba land through the north, but from traders from Mali. So this error, this fallacy, this misconception has to be corrected by whoever it is that could address this. And this video must get to them. Someone told me that Professor Alaro had highlighted something like this and they are working on it. Inshallah, may they succeed. What are you teaching the children? I shared a post about Gandoki, and in that book, it was the books, the textbook we read in our primary school. I mean, quite some time ago now. It says a lot about Gandoki, the Muslim warrior. He lives a charmed life. He killed people, he killed the infidels, he killed the unbelievers, all those and all that. So why would the average Nigerian not be at war with the average Muslim just because of what has been, put there in his brain? right from the beginning. This is bad. If there are textbooks like this that misrepresent Islam, not just Islam, any part of our history, they have to be corrected, and whoever is the publisher or those who are in charge, they have to be sanctioned. Because this is education. And these are what these children will go out there, they are going to hold very strongly. And then they will go there, they will argue with it, they will claim to be intellect with it, as if they know history. And then they are going to get humbled by those who know. Correct whatever it is, they should, they have to. And that's why this video has to get to them. And others who have voices too should take a look at something like this, and they should begin to speak out. Danfodio, through his jihad, introduced Islam to Nigeria through the north? No. I told you, he did not. What he did in the north was to correct their practices of Islam. Islam had been there hundreds of years before even Sheikh Danfodio was born. Now, he did not spread Islam throughout Nigeria because, like I told you, in Western Nigeria, Islam had been here at least 300, 400 years even before Danfodio was born. They said Islam brought a system of government which the Sokoto people adopted, as they have the Caliph or Emir. What is the system of government? The Sharia. You are educationists. You are teaching children. What system of government? Okay, is the Sharia. Okay, then put it there. What system of government? We have different system of government. In monarchy, you have democracy, you have all those and all that, communism, whatever it is. Then there is Sharia. Why don't you put it there? You don't know the system of government, and you are the ones teaching children? As they have the Caliph or Emir as their head. Now that's the Sultan. So the Sultan there is like the president, while the Emirs are the governors. Islam also brought Quranic education. This is 2026. I am recording this video in 2026. It could be tolerable and excusable if this was in the 16th century or in the 18th century, where people spell Muhammad as Muhammad, where they spell Muslims as Muhammadans, and where they spell the Quran as Quran. If you are in Nigeria teaching children history that has to do with Islam, and you can't even accurately spell the Quran, Quran, and if you want to even make it better, Qur, an apostrophe, and then an, Quran. He also brought the Quranic education. If this was spelled by people from Czech Republic, or people from Russia, or people from China, we could have excused them. But in Nigeria, I don't want to bring the narrative of an agenda. But if we bring the narrative of an agenda, we would not be doing too much. But I really don't, unless there is very strong evidence, I don't like doing these things like, oh, it's about religion or Islamophobes, unless I see very glaring evidences. But if I pull up a narrative that there is an agenda to this, I would not be wrong. Because how can people who are in charge of education, especially for a religion like Islam that has been here for over 700, 800 years, just about a millennium, and you can still be stark ignorant about the religion like this? It's not acceptable. It is not acceptable. Please correct this, unless you will have us believe that there's an agenda to deliberately misunderstand or misrepresent Islam. Please, if you have a voice, the stakeholders in Islam in Nigeria, in the north, in southwest, wherever in Igbo land, please let us say that this kind of education is corrected and our children are not corrupted with this kind of misconception. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.